All right, we're going to get started. Sorry, this is really loud. While you're filling this out, we are going to go ahead and get started. I think it's really odd that Mr. Edwards is not here, so maybe he will be here shortly. And hope nothing's wrong, but we are going to go ahead and get started with our School Health Advisory Council General Meeting. This is our third meeting. Today's meeting is a recorded public event and it's being recorded as an actual public record. Please, whenever you speak, do not use jargon or acronyms. Confidential information should not be discussed. And for the sake of those listening to the recorded event, we ask that each member, staff, and presenter state their name each time prior to beginning their comments and speak clearly and at a level appropriate so your voice and any comments can be heard. SHAC meetings follow a set of basic norms for conduct at our meetings that allows everyone to be heard and make decisions without confusion. During our SHAC meetings, we will call for motions that are in order. Members will obtain the floor properly, state your name and speak clearly and concisely into the microphones, obey the rules of debate, and most importantly, be courteous. To get the most out of our meeting, please give your full attention to the agenda topics. Please silence your cell phones, and we hope that you come prepared and empowered to make contributions for your area or function. Members may ask questions for clarification, but discussion will be limited to one speaker at a time. We ask that everyone's voice is heard before a voice speaks a second time, sharing only new and accurate information. We will use majority rule as our decision-making process. Every person is responsible for ensuring that they understand the options before making a decision that you feel is reflective of the needs of the community. At this time, if there are any invited guests or board members, we'd like you to stand and introduce yourself and be recognized at this time. We have some guests here for our presentation that will be introduced shortly. For any other invited guests here, we have presenters. All right. So I am Amanda Kennington, SHAC Chair and Facilitator. Our SHAC Co-Chair is Mr. Steve Edwards. And then our SHAC Secretary here to my left is Ms. Michelle Nelson. At this time, we're going to welcome our SHAC members and call roll to establish a quorum. Members, when you hear your name, please say respond with here or present. Are you going to check them as I call them? Cynthia Almanza. Tim Bailey. Oriana Bankston.
Here.
Nova Benavides.
Present.
Patrick Brown. Teresa Caldwell. Lilia Camacho. Ruth Cadillo. Sam Chapa.
Here.
Christy Clement.
Here.
Rosemary Kaufman. Ashley Cox.
Here.
Becky Dunn. Jasmine Evelyn.
Here.
Natalie Edwards. Steve Edwards. Madison Gallagher. Stephen Griffin. Marilyn Heredia.
Here.
Susanna Herrera Toledo. Sarah Hicks. Cara Ehegbelow. Brittany Janowski. Beverly Kegler. Pam Kostick.
Here.
Myra Laverne. Tamika Lee. Leticia Librer.
Here.
Lee Martinez.
Here.
Stephanie Myers.
Here.
Michelle Nelson.
Here.
Patricia Pena.
Here.
Casey Pena.
Here.
Maria Ramirez.
Here.
David Reed.
Here.
Carrie Rickard.
Here.
Laura Rupp. Rosalind Scott. Angela Cervantes. Laura Shostak. Jessica Sims. Diane Slack.
Here.
Lillian Stockwell. Nicole Saunier.
Here.
Abby Steele Morton. Joella Whitley.
Here.
Kevin Berleski. Carrie Ricker. And Laura Rupp. Thank you, committee members. We do not have a quorum. We have 25 present. We need 25 for quorum. 24 present, yes.
For time's sake, we're not going to go past the guiding principles. We're not going to do that. So just for time.
For each general meeting, members of the public may address the council by emailing written testimony to GCCISD at shac@gccisd.net no later than 5 p.m. 4 days prior to the scheduled meeting to ensure there's time on the agenda for public comment. The SHAC Executive Committee was made aware that an appointed SHAC member resigned their position from the district, so the total SHAC appointed membership now stands at 48. There's 25 parents, 20 district staff, and 3 community members. GCCISD shares meeting information on the district website under Whole Child Initiatives. Minutes and agendas can be found on the Meetings tab. This is our guiding principles here, their collective vision of the appointed members. And today, we want to celebrate some very special staff members from across our district. The pledges of support from Bewell Baytown, the Board of Trustees, you as a SHAC, and administrators across the district encouraged 389 GCCISD staff members to register and make healthier choices. We're honored today to recognize and provide a token of appreciation to the top 10 individuals who earned the most points on the leaderboard for GCCISD. I'm going to ask our Employee Wellness Director, Ms. Stephanie Myers, to come up and help with the presentation. And individuals, when I call your name, please come forward to be recognized. Ms. Angela Sanders, she was here earlier. Stephen Albritton, Alondra Lopez, Sherry Young, Christy Clement, Cynthia Martinez, Eva Martinez, Ms. Jessica Ruiz, Sansuri Ariaga, and Sam Chapa. Let's give them a hand. So Sam Chapa, one of our SHAC members, he's actually GCCISD warehouse foreman. He accumulated the highest points for GCCISD and encouraged others, just like everyone you see up here, while working on his own fitness. And we're very proud of our this year's Community Challenge participants. We continue to help our employees stay healthy, and we congratulate you for all your hard work. We have another celebration that we're going to be doing at the board meeting next week, so you all are invited to come up. We're going to be presenting campuses with the Salad Bowl Trophy. Thank you for helping Goose Creek become second place over all of the mid-sized categories in the state of Texas, and that's because every time that we looked on the leaderboard, we kept seeing each of you jumping up there, and it just builds that competition and that friendly competition. Some of you had commented to me, Ms. Martinez said she liked being motivated to make healthy food choices and exercising, and that the app was pretty easy to use. Ms. Young said she liked the accountability of the program. Ms. Ruiz said what she liked most about the challenges was that it encouraged her to make better choices each day, and she lost 25 pounds with lifestyle changes. She enjoyed the high fives and seeing the inspiration. So thank you all for being that inspiration for each other. And take a quick picture.
Let's give them another hand.
Our employees on here.
I know, but I'm OCD. So,
Maybe, yes.
Put this person in the middle.
They said no.
Thank you for having us.
High five, high five. Good job. Appreciate it. High five.
Thank y'all so much.
Yay, Coach Goose.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're moving into our presentation on youth vaping prevention. We'd like to introduce Paula Aranga and Valentina. They're going to come up, and the team from Harris County Public Health, they're going to present a youth vaping prevention presentation that includes kind of an overview of dangerous chemicals found in e-juice, telling signs that a child is vaping, and resources for concerned adults and adolescents.
To your.
Hello. Okay. I just wanted to test it. It's very sensitive. So my name is Paola Uranga, and I'm a tobacco cessation specialist. And here is my colleague,
Valentina. I'm also a tobacco specialist here with Harris County Public Health, and yeah, glad to be here.
and you'll see that the forms that we, I'm sorry, this.
That's fine. Okay. Yeah, just watch your step.
So you'll see that the forms that we passed out to you all, that is how we're funded. So it is very important that we have that filled out. If there's something on there that you would not like to fill out, it is okay, just the highlighted sections. And there are also surveys. Those are just knowledge checks. So they're the exact same survey as the second one that I passed out. You'll see at the front, it says post-survey and then pre-survey. So you'll select pre-survey, answer what you know, and then after the presentation, you'll do the survey again. And like I said, it is to test your knowledge. All right, so yes.
One more thing I did not mention before was if you could please add your height and weight. It's everybody's favorite part. It's also one of our grant requirements. We also work with another team, and if we don't have those statistics, height and weight, we hurt our numbers. So we're kind of hand in hand. So if you can just do it at the top, or if you want to do it all the way at the bottom.
Is that in the survey or on the, like?
On the consent form. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we'll get right on into it. And Amanda?
Next one.
Alrighty. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with a question for you all. Here it says, what do you know about vaping, right? So, do you guys know the brand Juul?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So sadly, that is a brand of e-cigarettes that is taking over the nation, especially with our youth. And especially with the children below 21 that shouldn't even be allowed to buy these Juuls, right? So here, one of our questions that we want to ask you is, knowing that Juul is one of the most popular brands of vaping devices, how many cigarettes would it take to equal the amount of nicotine in one Juul cigarette?
First one.
Okay, so she said the first one. Does anybody beg to differ? No? Okay. So it is actually the first one. So Valentina will go ahead and explain that answer for us.
Okay, so as my colleague was saying, One Juul pod does equal 20 cigarettes. A lot of times when we go to middle schools or high schools, they'll think it's just one, or they'll think it's 5, but never crosses their mind that it is 1 pack. So there's a lot of knowledge out there that the kids unfortunately don't know. So we'll explain the components later, but this is pretty much, looks like a USB, what the Juul is, the e-liquid, the cover, their chargeable battery, and all the components we'll explain later. But Juul is currently one of the most popular e-cigarette brands in America, and its most popular product looks like a USB drive. According to the company, one Juul pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes. And another one that we don't have in display that I also think is really popular as well is the puff bar. So that one is really marketed as really pretty, like lime green. They have all these like exotic flavors. We don't have it here, but it's essentially the same thing. They just make it look, maybe red or pink, hot pink, and they put stripes and whatnot. They just make it look really pretty. It catches your eye, catches your attention.
Thank you. All right, so we have another question for you all. Of course, you could tell me the answer as soon as you know it. So, which of the following substances can be added to e-liquid? And by e-liquid, we mean e-juice, vape juice, and it is the flavored liquid in vaping devices. Here our options are nicotine, THC, otherwise known as marijuana, vegetable glycerin, or all. All. Okay, so I'm glad that everyone got that right. Alrighty, so the answer is all of them, and I'm glad that everyone pretty much agreed on that. So sadly, again, we see a lot of children putting in their backpacks, their pockets, wherever they go, a little vaporizer, e-cigarette, electronic cigarette, whatever it is that they call it. They have the same device, and it can not only contain nicotine, but a lot of them contain marijuana. And not only is it nicotine or marijuana, but we'll dive into all of the flavors that go into all of the, sorry, we, as soon as one of us starts laughing, both of us start laughing. But yeah, so basically we'll dive into all of the flavorings and just why they're so harmful. Like Amanda said, all the dangerous chemicals that are in there.
So what is vaping? So vaping is the action of inhaling an exhaling vapor containing nicotine and flavoring. E6 employ a heating element that vaporizes the liquid, so propylene glycol, glycerin, nicotine, and flavorings, allowing the user to inhale it. So these are other models of what would be e-cigarettes. It's not just the Juul or the puff bar. They actually have generations, like first model, second, some are bulkier, smaller. They have something that looks like a pen, or even an actual combustible cigarette. So they come in many shapes and forms, and that's essentially what vaping is.
Okay, so earlier you said that earlier we said that we would explain the components. So what exactly is an e-cigarette and how does it work? So all of them have 4 general components, being the cartridge or pod, or what contains the e-juice, as I mentioned before, the microprocessor, the battery, and the heater. So what happens is, as soon as somebody takes a puff or a hit out of that vaporizer or vape, what happens inside of the cigarette is that the microprocessor, which can be found in any electronic device, so our computers, our phones, anything like that, that's electronic, has a microprocessor. So that's the exact same process that the vape goes through. So you'll be inhaling the vape, and then that microprocessor immediately communicates to the heater that it needs to heat up the pod. So then that pod is what is producing the inhaled vapor, and then you're exhaling all of that vapor. So a lot of people think secondhand smoke and secondhand vape, no such thing. It's fruity, it smells nice, it's not harmful at all. But that's actually wrong. You are exposing all of these chemicals into the air as soon as you're exhaling that. So it might smell good, but it's actually extremely harmful for others to be inhaling that around you if you are vaping. So what I also want to stress here is that every single vaporizer works in this way. They're all the same, and these chemicals that are in here that we're going to dive into and explain to you a little bit further, they actually turn even more harmful, and they actually multiply when you inhale it, because what you're doing is you're causing a chemical connection inside of the vaporizer itself, so you're getting all of those toxic metals and chemicals.
So all about the flavors. Here we kind of have a little bit of a breakdown of the e-liquid components, the flavoring, the nicotine, glycerin, and propylene glycol. One thing that I want you to see is not once is there anything listed here as water. There's no water in these vape pods. And a lot of our students think that it's just flavoring and water, it's just like vapor. But it's not. It's 100% chemicals. There's nothing good about this. There is no benefit. I don't care if they come with collagen or B vitamins. It's all chemicals. So there are currently more than 8,000 different e-liquid flavors, which I think is ridiculous. I can't come up with even 1,000. Common flavors include mango, cotton candy, rainbow candy, blueberry, dazzleberry. The prettier, the more they sell. These flavors can come with more than 7,000 chemicals. The common chemicals include formaldehyde, acrolein, diacetyl, and propylene glycol. And many of these chemicals have been approved by the FDA for consumption, but not inhalation.
Okay, so we want to dive in a little further into those chemicals that can be found in every vaporizer. So it's, like she said, it's over 7,000 chemicals. We can't stand up here all day and go through every single one of them with y'all, but we will go over let's just say the most harmful of them all. So there's nicotine, of course, and I do want to stress that 99% of vaporizers contain nicotine. So even the vaporizers that say nicotine-free, they're not nicotine-free. They're legally able to say nicotine-free and contain a little bit of nicotine in there. Just how we choose decaf over caffeinated coffee sometimes, there's still going to be caffeine in the decaf, right? So I want to say that because even if, let's say, there is no nicotine in that cigarette, right? That e-cigarette, there's still going to be propylene glycol, the flavoring chemicals, vegetable glycerin, and here are the main functions put in a very simple form for you all. So vegetable glycerin, it makes the smoke and it carries other ingredients. So not only are these very harmful chemicals harmful on their own, they carry additional chemicals into that ingredient list. But you won't see these ingredients posted in the back of that packaging for that vaporizer. It would be way too long for them, and legally they're allowed to keep it this short. So the flavoring chemicals, they hide the taste of all of the chemicals, and they attract people, mainly young children. So these tobacco companies, they said, okay, well, we lost our audience that smokes cigarettes. They either quit smoking, or sadly, they are now deceased from different smoking-related diseases, right? But they think, okay, well, who can we target next? And that is the youth. So that's why we're seeing a lot of 13, 14, 15, 20-something-year-olds pull out their little vapes everywhere. So propylene glycol, it makes the smoke and it carries other ingredients. Like I said, these carry even more ingredients right off the bat. So, like Valentina stressed, there is no water in e-juice. So we saw a survey where teens were asked, what is in your e-juice? And they said, 66% of them said, just flavoring. But their idea of flavoring is not what I just explained to you. They thought it was literally water vapor with maybe some fruit juice or some harmless flavoring. So that's nothing at all close to what's actually in there.
So this entire time we've been calling it a vape. So vapor is a substance diffused or suspended in the air, especially when normally in a liquid or solid state. So when I think of vapor, I think we can all think of like boiling water. We think of H2O, most organic compound. So you think of just water. But in reality, when you're vaping, it's an aerosolized vapor. Let me start this way. So here we have hairspray. So hairspray has like flammable, correct? It has all these chemicals. You put hairspray in your hair, maybe you put it in your eyebrows. I know I do. But you wouldn't put it in your mouth. So why would you put what's considered a vape, which would be, to me, would be, boiling water, gas, in your mouth? Why would you put the hairspray or a vape with all those chemicals? So I think they use the word vapor or vape because it sounds nicer, it sounds healthier, it sounds something that we use on the regular or see on the regular. They wouldn't say, oh, you want to go aerosolize vape, Nobody would pitch that. You would question that. So they keep it simple. We just kind of wanted to touch base on that.
All right, so here is the first chemical that we'll be talking about. Of course, we've said it already, and we're going to say it again because, like I said, 99% of these vapes have nicotine. So, Juul, if you look on their website, their mission and their whole goals on their website are to be the alternative to smoking cigarettes. And a lot of people would say, well, I don't want to touch a cigarette, it smells bad and this and that, and I'd rather vape. Well, like we saw earlier, the amount of nicotine in one Juul pod equals to 20 cigarettes. And if you become a regular user of this e-cigarette, especially the Juul pod, you saw how little that thing was. You'll go through that in 1 to 3 days. So this Juul website that is telling you that, hey, this is the healthy alternative, well, guess what? They're smokers that go through 1 to 3 of these a day. So this is a diagram of a person smoking a cigarette, could very well be an e-cigarette. So the arrows are explaining to you that as soon as they take that one puff, that one hit, what happens is that nicotine is shooting right up your brain within 10 seconds. So it is a drug. People forget that nicotine it's a drug. So these are young children that are becoming addicted to this drug.
So propylene glycol, I know we mentioned this one. It's in liquid and e-juice has chemicals together. It's found in antifreeze, so you don't want to drink antifreeze, why would you want to vape? And it's also found in fog machines. A question that I always get from students is, well, I go to concerts and there's fog machines there, and look at me, nothing has happened to me, so why are you telling me it's bad? And I always have to tell them, well, do you put your mouth in front of the fog machine? Are you in front of it? No. So you wouldn't drink antifreeze, so why are you vaping? So that's another chemical that's found.
All right, so I think a lot of us know what this one is, right? Can anybody volunteer?